Hi everybody, hope you're all well. Welcome to my live, everybody. Yeah. Everyone okay? What's everybody been up to today then? Thank you for the like. Nice one. So, who we got in here? Sorry for all the restarting and stuff. It's just, yeah. Sometimes it just seems to kind of drop off, and then when I restart it, it kind of picks up again. Yeah. Alan Watts, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I've heard that quote before, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's like when people have, say, good intentions, but then they become corrupted. So, yeah, let's have a look at this. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So it says, the road to hell is paved with good intentions is a proverb meaning that well-meaning intentions are meaningless without action, or that good intentions can lead to disastrous consequences. It highlights that house, you're welcome, that the outcome of actions matters more than the intent, often serving as a warning against inaction, procrastination, or misguided well-intentioned efforts. I thought it meant more to do with people started off with good intentions but then kind of became corrupted. Once they started to get a lot of power, they start becoming quite sort of, it goes to their head. I thought that's what it meant, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. I thought that was what it was referring to. But two types of morality of intentions and morality of results. Interesting. Yeah, it's like people can have intentions to do something but then never actually go through with it. No, I'm not Cole. Hello, Diva. No, I've never been to Warhammer armies, no. Hit the like button, everybody. Because that's the thing, is that you can have good intentions, but then if you don't act on it, then the intention is meaningless, is what it's saying. So, action over intention, simply intending to do something good is worthless if it is not followed through. Yes, I've had times before where I've intended to do something but then just never followed through with it. Unintended consequences. Actions taken with the best intentions can result in negative, unforeseen, or harmful outcomes. Well, yeah, that's true, wordways. Yeah, that's true, yeah. Ineffective goodness. That says a warning that pure, unapplied intentions do not produce positive results. So what were you saying, Diva? I just said I'm not in the army. What you on about? What the hell? Anyway, hello Gianni, how you doing? Well, that's fine, I'll just get rid of you from the live then. Hello Ronald. If you're just going to be whatever, then we'll just get rid of that. Hello to you, Ronaldo. Okay. Hello, Harating. Spices don't just make food taste nice on food, They're used to disguise rot to preserve food in hot weather. etc. Europe traditionally uses herbs where a colder climate and preserve food easily. So you were saying it disguises it, doesn't actually preserve it. That just makes it not taste shit. Is that what you're saying? But if it's off, you shouldn't be eating it, basically. Hello, Marky. But in some cases, they just in some cases you just kind of, I guess, didn't really have a choice back then. But nowadays, yeah. It's anyway. But let's have a look. Ineffective goodness, that is a warning that pure. I've just read that one. Origins and examples. Origin. The phrase is often attributed to Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, 1090 to 1153. I don't know how the future's going to be. What do you think? Though it is similar to variations used by John Ray in 1670 and Samuel Johnson in 1775. Example, unintended consequences. The introduction of Asian carp to the US in the 1970s to control algae, which later escaped and damaged ecosystems. Example, inaction. Promising to volunteer for a charity event but failing to show up. Yeah. So, yeah, you could have an intention. It's like procrastination is what causes it a lot. Like where, yeah, you had the intention to do it, but then when it came to it, you just couldn't get yourself round to doing it. Anyway, yeah, beatbox. It's just off like the Google's. I mean, it can be, that's AI stuff can be good for certain things. The AI mode, well, it's just AI overview. It's called AI overview. It's just if you type something into Google, it comes up with stuff like, I mean, it can be good for like things like that, just to give you brief overviews on things and to learn things like that. But yeah, but I do think there are some bad to AI as well. But anyway, but yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Share this out if you can. That would be really appreciated. Anyway, and yeah, subscribe if you're new. Yeah, there's a fake virtue or something. But yeah, I'm just gonna look at more like Alan Watts stuff. But yeah. But yeah, is everyone okay? ChatGPT is on decline with funds and it's on a loss, saying they don't know if they can maintain more than 1 year. Oh really? Oh really? What's going to happen then? Is it just going to become no more or something? But I mean, there's Google using their own AI system. I mean, it's pretty much the same as ChatGPT. I mean, you shouldn't use it for everything, I don't think. People become quite reliant on these things, don't they? But, hello, King. Oh, God. So why is it on decline? Is it just because, like, people just think it's not a good idea to use these things because they're against AI? They think that AI is dangerous or something. They've seen a lot of bad things. It's not bringing enough profits. Well, yeah, because unless people are signing up for the premium version of it, then they'd have to find a way to, yeah. Consumes too much energy. Well, yeah. It's just, it'd be crazy if it, like, actually just dies off and then isn't, because you don't normally see like a technology come about for it to then end up like being, you know, cut off basically. I don't know. I suppose there have been technologies that have come and gone, but usually it's because it's replaced by something more advanced. usually when you get an advancement, it doesn't usually just kind of go unless there's something more efficient to replace it. I thought they never had any profit, only funding from others. Yeah, I don't know how it all works really. I know with like Wikipedia it's crowdfunded, but I don't know if like AI is open AI. I mean, allowed the whole world know there's no meal better than a full English. Or really? Okay. Are you some robot? Yeah, I am. So I wonder if, like, even if the ChatGPT goes, will the Google still have the AI mode? Will it still, I guess, if they can make profit off it or something, and because there's other ones other than ChatGPT, right? So even if ChatGPT dies off, there might be other ones that are more efficient that can run better, either run with less energy or they can make more profits or something. The Euro Scott. Just a tool is dependent on good high quality data. Yeah, true. Although Rudra, but sometimes it can be wrong. And ChatGPT's been caught out lying and stuff apparently. Seriously, water is my favorite struggle meal. Oh god, that's like some real proper like apocalypse food, that, isn't it? You know, cereal with water. I think I actually tried putting, if I had nothing else to put on it, I would put fucking, oh god. My dad actually said that he put tea on Weetabix. I'm like, that's a bit of a odd one really, isn't it? Yeah, he said he put tea on it. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, some people have very, obscure kind of like combinations and things. Yeah, is everyone okay? Hope everyone's well. Oh, really, Omar? Oh, math. Oh, really? Not sure about that. God, these comments can. GPT has many factors based on the personas they use and the way you phrase your questions and data they are using. I'm from the UK, but in Germany, work. Yeah, I mean, obviously, depending on how you ask it, can give a different response. Sometimes you have to be very specific about what you ask it, because sometimes it might give an answer that's not nuanced, basically. Sometimes there's certain nuances that you need to be specific, otherwise it won't know exactly what you're asking it or something. Is that what you mean? But apparently it got caught out lying at some point. Hello, Gianni. Oh, really? Hello, Heriting. GPT is useful, helpful. I mean, it can be in certain instances, I guess, but can GPT sensors be outstepped by a user, like the sensors that won't let you talk about harmful stuff? What are you trying to say is in like that, you know, maybe it should have certain limiters to it as to like what it can talk about or something, or what do you mean by that? I've just cut my own short back and sides and trimmed and shaped my own beard because I won't put money in. Okay, the hell. Well, there is that. You could just do it to zero, save money. Yes, you can bypass, but ethically it should have those removed. Yeah, it should do, really. You mean if people start asking it things like how to get away with unaliving somebody or something? Is that what you mean? I mean, maybe not things that kind of severe, but things of that sort of nature. You mean asking it to, yeah. But you mean, do I believe in AI or human transformation? You're on about transhumanism. I mean, some people believe that we'll be able to upload our consciousness into a computer. I wouldn't be risking doing shit like that because I don't think that we can do shit like that, I don't think you can just take your consciousness and put it into a computer. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. T-Mobile has a huge board of ethics to ensure that the AI engine stays within criteria. Well, that's good then. So long hair and beard used to symbolize nobility and wisdom. Yeah. Times change, don't they, with it's it got to a point when, say, you had the army, where hairstyles short back and sides become more popular because you had to have it short at the back and sides otherwise it would get in the way of when you, let's say, because when you put these helmets on, so he had to be below that beret, whatever it's called. Had to be at least down to a number 2 or something below the beret. Otherwise it could be seen as a hazard or something. How to get rich? Well, yeah, just I mean, to get rich depends on how rich you want to get, really. But I would say just one of the things that you can do is, if you're still with your parents, to stay living with your parents for a while. Then you've got more money to invest. So I think that's one of the things where a lot of people don't want to end up staying with their parents because they think that's not a very kind of, they might feel a bit of shame because they're still with their parents at late 20s, 30s, whatever. But it's but if you're wanting to make more money, then it might actually be worth doing that to help you get your foot on whether that's a business, whether that's invested it in some property or something like that. And then you can become rich from there by just keep reinvesting profits and stuff. But anyway, if you can just, I mean, there's different ways to make money, and in some ways you could say there's more ways than ever now because of the internet. While a lot of ways have become obsolete, there's actually a lot of new ways to make money if you know how to leverage it. There's literally people selling art online now. Online has actually allowed people to find a target audience for their products and things. I would focus on doing that. With living comfortably, not becoming rich. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that if you want to try and get super rich, then there's a lot of responsibility with that, and it can be a bit stressful for some people, especially if they're in competitive markets and the whole pressure to try and maintain a certain level. Now, you could say, well, once you've got people working for you, then once you've got to that point, you can just probably not worry too much. But some people might be worried that if they don't keep scaling their business, then they can fall behind or something, and other businesses. It's just, that's a problem when you're in some competitive niche or something. But I would just try and find your own niche, is what I'd say, if that's the case. It could be a personal brand or something like that. Something that's personal to you. Anyway, maybe some people's comfortable living is being rich. There's nothing wrong with different preferences of life, yeah. But it's just when people sacrifice so much to get rich, like where they need all this kind of material wealth, but they've never really stopped to think about, why do I need all this stuff? Why can't I be happy with... I'm not saying you should have bare minimum, by no means am I saying that. Yeah, some people get really shallow. It's like when they need the newest iPhone all the time or whatever. A little liberty. It's like, you know what I mean? Hope everyone's well anyway. Hit that like button. Yeah. Yeah, we seem to be going a little bit slow now, so anyway. Yeah, we won't be on too much longer. Any more questions, guys? Yeah, is everybody okay then? Rich people get rich by being unkind and ruthless and stepping on others. Well, it depends how rich you try and get to, really. I think it's when people get to like the stage of being billionaires especially, but yeah. It is definitely shallow. I feel like some do it as a way to compensate for a shitty childhood. That can definitely be a factor. It's the same thing about wanting to become famous as well. That can be a way of compensating. And this is why, you know, like with the people who get into the music industry, for example, because they want to be rich and famous and all that, but it's like a way of compensating because a lot of them have childhood traumas and things like that that haven't been resolved. So these people profile them and they're like, oh, this will be a good person to kind of, you know, we can basically just take advantage of this person, and you know what I mean? We do everything because of our childhood. In the childhood, we are forming our habits and desires, and in the adult life, we live it. Yeah, pretty much. So this is why it's important for children to have a good childhood. Otherwise, it can mess them up later on in life. But there is ways of like trying to resolve things, like resolving traumas and stuff. But yeah, that's that. All my comments are generalizations, by the way, not complete judgments of all people, right or across the board. It's just easier to cut the BS and speak on the general stuff sometimes. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Sometimes I'm like that myself, where I'll like sort of, people will then accuse me of being a generalizer, but you know, it's just, yeah, it's not like I'm saying literally everybody, and it's like, yeah, hello Ishan Jankar, hello Mike Piccolo, how you doing? My childhood was miserable and I suffer so much of it to this day, but I keep on living and love it. Well, that's a good thing that you can just try and move past it. Objective morality, I mean, what do you mean by it? As in like, that doing a certain thing is bad no matter the context of it. Like, for example, is it morally okay to unalive somebody that's threatening to unalive somebody else, for example? Like, this is where the whole thing of like, let's say, you know, for example, someone's threatening to poison the well that's, you know, water that would kind of, you know, like 100 people in the village would drink or something, right? Is it morally okay in that scenario to do that? Even though they haven't actually done anything yet, but it's just a threat. What would you say? Hello, Sophia, welcome back. Hello, Marianak. Sorry, hello, Snick. Nothing. The subjective or objective morality. Like I was saying, that certain things can depend on. I think you could say it's objective in some instances, like. But I mean, I don't know. What am I even saying? I mean, incarcerate them, but don't. But it's like, what if you haven't got any other choice or something? Like, what if, say, someone's going to do something, but then it's like they're threatening to like do something, but then unless you intervene and try to, then. Hello, Slow Tie. Like some would say, is it morally okay to steal from a thief or something like that? But then some people say two wrongs don't make a right or whatever. What source did morals come from? Good question. Some might say it's within us to be moral, but then again we have this animalistic nature that it's far from moral when you look back at the past and how immoral people could get. This whole thing of territorialism and all that, and tribal nature that was brutal. I don't support any football team. Then yes, it is the same as if everyone was standing there with a weapon getting ready to unalive someone. Well, that's the thing then, it's like, well, yeah. I am scared to steal, I'm not like that. I am, okay. Yeah, you should not steal. Hello, Lee Partridge, how you doing? Yeah, we shouldn't be stealing, should we? So you could say, like, morality is just something that we as a collective society decide upon to try and be civilized and whatever. That without it, you could say it's like, we would not function as a society. Society became civilized because we developed some morality. So yeah, I'll have to look into that, whether, you know, it's like, there's this whole thing of like, knowing right from wrong. Is that something that we know on a level deep down, or is that something that we've just, a subjective feeling because of society has led you to believe that? We should steal if the opposite is dying of hunger. I mean, there is that. I mean, it's kind of... Like there was this thing where, like, if, say, like, you're... Like, is cannibalism okay if, say, like, you... if, say, someone was gonna die... But let's say the other person already died. Kind of like in that film where the plane crashed on a snowy mountain and they resorted to cannibalizing other people. Let's say like desperate times call for desperate measures. That sometimes people might think of something as immoral in normal circumstances, but then they would sort of like not have a problem with it if it actually was necessary for them to survive. Is it morality or is it empathy? Well, some people can have empathy, but be douchebags, you know? There's people going about being empathetic, but they're empathetic without the M. You know what I mean? Without the EM, they're just pathetic. Like the people... You know, just because someone's empathetic doesn't mean they're actually moral. Just because you can put someone in, just because you can like be in someone else's shoes doesn't mean you're a good person. There's a thing called dark empaths who are actually nasty people. Like they feel what others feel, and they actually get a kick out of it in some cases. So. What if the society says killing is not wrong? Is it suddenly okay? I'd rather not base my... Yeah, I wouldn't do that, you know? But then some might say, well, it's because you've been brainwashed for so long that it's not okay to kill. But it's just then it comes down to like animals and stuff like that, like people killing animals for food and stuff, you know? Because that topic can really trigger people. Why is it okay to eat a pig but not a dog, sort of thing? Like, I mean, so that can kind of trigger people where it's like, where do they see? Because they see dogs as pets, it's like, but they're not food to them or something. Some might say it's because they're more relatable to humans or something. But it's like, does that justify killing another animal for food? And what, like, because you wouldn't kill a dog for food because of that. It's like, I don't know. It's a bit of a odd kind of like thing where there's this double standard there, where because people would, let's see it as weird or whatever, or wrong for someone in, say, like East Asia or wherever, where they eat dog. They're like, oh, that's horrible or whatever. It's like, but it's like, I mean, is it because they're like a domesticated animal or something? Is that why people have a sort of, they get kind of triggered at that or something like that? I mean, yeah, this is what I was saying about that. But some might say that because I was looking at that, dogs have a higher social intelligence or whatever it might be, but does that really justify? It's all a bit of a, you could say it's like a cognitive dissonance that people have, where it's like, how can you be justifying one but then not justifying the other? Yeah, it's like they're like, oh, that's not right that they'll eat a dog for food. But like, why are you eating a pig or a cow, you know, or even a sheep or something like that? You know, I mean, it's like, if you actually see these animals, they are quite sentient beings, aren't they? A pig's said to have an intelligence of about a 4-year-old child. They're said to be about as intelligent as chimps. So where do people get this from? Why is eating a dog not seen as, because we see them as pets, because we've been conditioned to like see them as pets because is it because they're domesticated? Because they're not wild animals or something? But what difference does that make, kind of thing? Been a farmer my whole life and interact with farm animals on a daily basis. They're so similar to dogs, it's crazy. Yeah, really. Yeah. I've seen some horrible videos from like factory farming and shit like that, and I'm not here to preach or anything, but it's like, there's some real horrors that go on with all that, and yeah, some of the stuff that we get here is like more ethically done, but it's still horrible to see what happens with all that. It's but a lot of people just choose to bury their head in the sand and kind of, yeah, but yet they will just have a problem with dogs being slaughtered for food. They're all sentient beings though at the end of the day. It's like, where do you draw the line, kind of thing? It's like, all yours are pets. Alright. Yeah, because people farm to like produce food to sell it or whatever, and they're producing cattle or whatever, and a lot of that stuff gets pumped up with steroids and all sorts of bullshit to make it grow faster, you know? It's all not good, is it? Because if it's done naturally, it's not going to be as efficient for them. I heard this theory actually that if we had like basically if people talk about like grass-fed beef, but I've heard this thing that if everybody chose to have grass-fed beef, then there might not even be enough space for it, because they need an awful lot of space to do that. So they want to go on about doing things more ethically, but I just don't think it's actually like practical, from what I understand about like how many acres are going to be required for, especially with having such a high population and all that, and the billions of people that need to be fed. It's like, well, yeah, if people wanted to eat a significant amount of grass-fed, then there's going to be limits to like how many people could do that, I guess. We don't have an infinite amount of space. You could argue it could cause, I don't know, some might say that it's environmentally better, but some might even argue that factory farming is actually better for the environment, because I've heard stuff about how much land would have to be destroyed to actually produce all that stuff. So they want to go on about like environment and all that, and I don't know, but it's like, I guess nothing's perfect, but it's just, some people might have the best, like this, it goes back to the road to hell is paved with good intentions. We have to really do our research on things and just kind of, I think it's nothing's perfect, and yeah, we just gotta figure out for ourselves what we think is the lesser of two evils kind of thing, and just, there's always going to be some unintended consequences with things, but that's just life, nothing's perfect. Sometimes there's collateral damage or whatever, so yeah. Beef's too expensive for my family. We either go for pork, fish, and chicken. Yeah. I've heard pork's not really good for you. A lot of I've heard a lot of pig stuff. It's not very healthy, a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, chicken's like better for you apparently, but yeah. Alright, I'm gonna get going, guys, but yeah. I just remember like stuff on sort of, especially on fatty cuts of like these sort of meats and stuff, as in like oftentimes, I guess it depends on the source of things really, but I've heard bacon's quite bad for you, like with carcinogens and whatever, and just a lot of this deli meat, a lot of this, like your pork sausages and they're not very good for you apparently. Like they're considered as carcinogenic or something. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. It's, but people want to just kind of act like it's healthy or whatever. But I mean, if you had a small amount, I guess it, probably not going to do much harm. Yeah, like lots of fish has high mercury, doesn't it? Yeah, because in seafood, it's like, some say it's like the earth's sewer, basically. Salmon is okay, well it's fresh water, isn't it? So, is that the thing, freshwater fish is probably better than sea fish or something, is that why? Because on fresh water, there's not as much accumulation of toxins. Is it because it's basically running water or something? Like the sea just accumulates a bunch of like fucking toxins. So a lot of you like sea fish are kind of, so you've got like your salmon and trout and stuff, that your freshwater fish or something. But yeah. Anyway, so but some people believe that even fish are not really it's like farmed fish, I think, is quite cruel. A lot of it, you hear about how many fish actually perish just from the bycatch, not even from the actual. But there's a lot of a lot of like collateral damage with the fish industry, where because when they like catch it in the nets and stuff, a lot of unintended stuff gets caught up in it. Like some of it's going to be fish that they didn't intend to catch. So some might say, like wild caught fish is better or something, and versus farmed fish. Yeah, industrial fishing, it's really bad. There was there was some thing called Seaspiracy, I think it was called, or something like that, where it was basically about the. I don't think I've properly watched it, but there was some. Something about the farmed fish or something. Yeah, that's the thing of like, fish are sentient beings as well. It's just people will say that they're like vegetarians and stuff, but yet they'll eat fish. I find that a bit of a. I don't understand how you can call yourself a vegetarian but eat fish. I mean, fish are like animals too, even though they're in the water and all that. But I don't understand why a vegetarian would eat fish. I don't understand the logic behind that, unless you're doing it for health reasons. But then you're not a vegetarian. Because fish is still a type of meat. It's animal protein. It's still technically a meat. Now there is some debate on things like oysters and stuff like that, and whether, because they don't have a central nervous system. I don't know what you would think about oysters. Would they be like, because they're technically classed as a meat or something? They're like a shellfish, but they arguably don't have a central nervous system. Central nervous systems like like what we have. It's like we're able to have complex things going on, but they were saying that with oysters, they don't have. They just have like ganglia or something, but they don't have. They're not able. Some are arguing that they're not able to feel pain or anything. It's very unlikely that they have. I mean, that's what they're saying anyway. But some are arguing that we should give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, some argue that they're just a kind of form of animal that wasn't fully evolved to have like senses and stuff or something like that. We don't know, but it's like with plants. Some might argue that because they can respond to stimuli, that they also have the ability to feel pain. The question is, well, do we really know? Like, do we know if they have that sense or not? Hermit crabs, they're very distinguishable personalities, right? Yeah, that's the thing there. It's like people just see them as just like food, and it's like, I mean, everyone's got their own opinions and all that, but when you see like, say, a fish or something, like they've got eyes, they've got a lot of traits that like, similar to us in a way, like, they breathe differently to us, but it's like they all, you could say, well, some might argue that because other animals eat other animals, therefore we should do that because we're omnivores and we should just do that. But then other people say that we have the ability not to, so that we should be able to be morally superior, so that we can just anyway. Prawns are very good for you, apparently. I read the other day, but I don't eat them. Might try them. Well, I don't know. I've not looked into that, but if it bleeds, it's an animal. Pretty simple logic for me. Yeah. Do insects bleed then? In that case, I mean, they just splat or something and just. I used to be quite cruel. I used to like swat flies. Just like get like a newspaper. I mean, my granddad used to do that as well. Like just get the newspaper and just swat it or something. It would just be like, yeah, it's nasty, when you see it like splat and just, you know what I mean? There's literally a life there. It's just, even though it's such a, far removed from us, but it's still some kind of life there, isn't it? They still have some kind of, yeah. We mean the hunter-gatherer diet. So it's a small amount that you don't see it when they get squished, right? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's what are your thoughts on oysters then? Like, because they're like a completely different thing to like any other animals in that sense of like other types of animals. I mean, like mussels are another one as well, and clams, things like that, basically. Should stay in the shells. Even about mussels and things like that. Or Pringles. Yeah, I'm a crazy hippie that only eats things that grow from the ground. Yeah, some say only eat it if it grows from the ground or from a tree. Some even go further and say you should only eat something that grows from the tree. Some even goes forward to say that they don't eat anything from the ground because they don't believe that we should be eating it. I think that starts getting a bit ridiculous at that point, really, but some people saying that, eating roots are like bad because fruit is comes from the trees and they're wanting to be eaten or something. Hello Zen, how you doing? Cows grow from ground up. Oh yeah. Well, that is true. Oh god. Anyway, I'll just turn this on. What's that? I need a hook. Fish fingers. Oysters and mussels have blood. It's just colorless. Alright. But do they actually have sentience or something? I mean, there's some argue about whether they do or not. Now, couldn't in plants, like the sap of a plant or something, could that not be seen as a sort of like the blood of a plant or something? I don't know. That's not really the blood. Would you see it as that? I don't know. Like the sap, I mean, like the lifeblood of a tree, it says, acting as a vital transport fluid that carries water, nutrients. See, that sounds like the blood of a tree or something. So, they have nerves and a heart, so that's enough for me not to eat it. All right. Yeah. Well, there's that, and it's kind of like certain characteristics that you associate with like animals and stuff. But anyway, that blood is blue till air gets. I don't know. I've heard that was some old wives' tale. Let's have a look. Is blood blue in the body? I don't think it is it? No, it's never blue, it says. Either inside or outside the body. Yeah. A lot of people argue that plants feel too, but my answer is to that is always I have to eat something or I'll die, so I'm going to pick the least alive thing I can eat. Well, that's the thing, isn't it, about... It's like, well, what are you going to do then? Bananas share 50% of human DNA. In fact, I won't eat bananas. I feel evil. I mean, I don't know, that's like... why would you not eat bananas? Aren't bananas wanting to be eaten? Bananas are just like features of a tree. They're not. You're not actually killing a tree to eat a banana. You could argue. I don't know. What about the Queen? Okay. Millionaire. Who's millionaire trust? Some humans eat others. Oh yeah. Yeah, no. Does anyone watch True Crime? Oh, he's doing a subscriber giveaway. Oh, really? Does anyone watch True Crime? Some of the stuff that people do is just insane, isn't it? Like, and the funny thing is that they think that they can get away with it. It's like, that's the thing where they're just so, like, they're so cocky, they think they can just get away with it, but it's like, and sometimes it's just so obvious what they've been doing, and yeah. Yes, you can continuously eat vegetables from their source, but name me an animal you can eat a piece of and not kill it. Well, yeah, there is that, I suppose. No, not with parents, no. I'm going to have to get off in a second, guys, but... Well, they say another thing is that if you slice open a piece of fruit or something, or a vegetable, it's like, look what happens when you open it up. I mean, versus when you open up an animal, it's just horrific. You know what I mean? There's that as well. I remember, like someone was saying, if you cut a strawberry and you sort of like open it up, you still have a strawberry, right? And then if you cut like an animal open, it's just like all blood, blood coming out. You've got, you know what I mean? It's just gross. But anyway. Yeah. What was I saying? But yeah, slaughter to prevail. Oh yeah. Slaughter to prevail. Yeah, I can do the vocals. It's just I know Alex terrible. Yeah, you have to avoid cutting open intestines or it will literally poison you. Oh god. What do you mean cut open intestines? And about that it has a lot of toxins in there and stuff. As long as Jamie doesn't mind, what's that? Yeah, do the death vocals and stuff, yeah, like... You were comparing cutting open animals to vegetables, yeah, because I was saying how... Yeah, cutting open an animal is just totally different, isn't it? Like, it's just disgusting, I don't know. Versus if you cut open like if you cut a carrot, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's clean, isn't it? It's just cut open a strawberry, cut open an apple, cut open anything basically. Yeah, deathcore band. Yeah, deathcore. I'm not really so into it when they overuse breakdowns. It can get a bit old when they do that all the time. I do like some deathcore stuff, but yeah, some of them can overuse breakdowns and cucumbers. What about it? Animals are eternal like humans. Our DNA will live into eternity until we are hit by a large meteor. Or really, even then we might live on as basic building blocks of life. Well, I have my own thoughts on like spirituality, and maybe we're all one. Who knows? Maybe there's a oneness to the universe. A cucumber's good for you. I would have thought so. I mean, everything in moderation. Well, not everything, but like, as in, I'm pretty sure they're good for you, right? A bird growl. What you mean, a bird growl? I can do the velociraptor sound, you could call it. Yeah, they're just mostly water, but yeah. So it can be good for hydration, so that's the main benefit, really. I mean, I think radicals in any religion can be bad, but I know there's been a lot of like things with like Islam and all that, and it's just, but I don't think that they speak for the majority of Muslims. I don't think they would really support that kind of stuff, would they? Yeah, I've heard, what was it? Some people were saying that, what was it, with the, what is it? Celery, supposedly, let's have a look and see if that's actually true. Does celery have negative calories? Let's have a look at this. No, celery does not have negative calories. As this is a popular myth, while celery is extremely low in calories, about 6 to 10 per stalk, and higher in water and fiber, the energy your body expends to digest is less than the total calories the food provides, resulting in a small net gain. So, yeah. So there you go then. Do they also lose muscle? I mean, to lose muscle, you have to like eat less protein than your body requires to maintain. Just like when you eat less calories to maintain body weight, with protein, you eat less protein than your body can maintain, basically. Oh yeah, the solar system prevail. Thank you, yeah. Yeah, cucumber's low in general calories, really. Yeah, I could start a band at some point, eh? Slipknot, you mean, Pablo? Yeah. Yeah, so I learned like a lot of that stuff like ages ago, but it was I actually was briefly in some kind of band, but then they just kind of gave up. I think they had other things going on, but yeah. But it was going to be more of like a metalcore type of band or something, but Yeah. Gent. I mean, I find gent can get a bit boring if they do that stuff too much. I mean, Meshuggah, I think did that pretty well, but I just find a lot of bands are just trying to copy on Meshuggah, like when they're just a gent band. Meshuggah do it interesting because they do different time signatures and things with it. But yeah. No, mushrooms don't contain calories either. Well, that's 10 years out the window. Mushrooms do contain calories, right? Mushrooms are, yeah. Yeah, at least I think. Anyway, a gent shreds band. I don't know how that will work. I mean, more like a progressive band. I mean, some of the progressive bands have like a genty kind of very low tuned kind of sound where it's to have that more kind of like baritone bass type of sound. I have believed for around 10 years celery and my shoes cost more calories to digest. What the hell? Do you know anything that contains calories, even a cement? Cement? Nah. No, cement on. It's like we're saying about soil. Soil doesn't have calories, I don't think. Ska gen, that would be a bit of a odd genre, wouldn't it? Maybe we could do some really experimental kind of sounds or something and fuse different weird genres together just for the hell of it. Maybe have a fucking yeah, just like a fucking, what is it? Some kind of, I mean, there was this band called The Algorithm, and they fused a bunch of different, like they had some different electronic sounds with like, but they had these really like, sometimes they'd do some like blast beat drums and like, and a lot of mix of things like, there was even times where they would kind of almost sound like reggae or something. It was really fucking weird, but yeah. I just looked at one of soil does not contain digestible calories. Yeah, even the minerals in soil are not bioavailable to humans, I don't believe. It's not in a form that is bioavailable. Okay, the plug. Right, I'm gonna have to get going, guys, but it's been good talking to you all, but yeah. Okay, anyways, jazz metal band, jazzy chords from the lead guitar player, and chugs from the bassist, and rhythm guitar player, and blast beats from drum and screaming vocals. Oh yeah. Yeah, it could be like a sort of mathcore band or something where you have some like complicated and odd time signatures with like so it has a bit of a jazzy kind of quite a sort of, yeah, some might call it controlled chaos or something. If you listen to a band called the Dillinger Escape Plan, then you'll actually understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, they were one of the early bands that kind of did that genre, and they took it to the extreme and just really sounds quite chaotic and yeah. But yeah, they're considered like mathcore, which is just yeah, a lot of different time signatures, things like polyrhythms and like just different like syncopations and things like that. Hello, Anisha. Thank you. Oh yeah, Kill Switch Engage is like metalcore kind of band, really, and like yeah. Yeah, I've listened to Kill Switch Engage before. Yeah, I've listened to like I listened to their album. What was it called? Alive or Just Breathing, whatever it's called. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for subbing. Yeah. I don't know what you mean. Sure, what? Sorry. Anyway, well, I'm gonna have to get going, guys. I'll see you all later. All right. Bye for now.